Hi everyone, welcome to another vlog. It's Paula here. So as you probably can see in the title, this is gonna be my March reset, except it's gonna be slightly different because I am dragging some books from February that I want to read. So it's gonna be also a reading vlog, kind of. It's currently around 1:30. It's quite later in the day, but I was kind of productive. This morning I did run some errands, one of them for this vlog actually, and is that I went to a printer shop. I think that's how you would call them. In Spain we call them copisteria. It's basically a place where you go and they print anything that you need, because I do not have a printer here. So I went there and I printed some images for my review collages that I'm doing, and that you'll probably see in this video, because I am so behind my reading journal because again I did not have a printer, so I didn't have the little pictures to put into my reviews, and I have to put them first before writing because they kind of like determine how much space I have to review. I finally got them, so I will be able to fill in everything from January that's left over. I think I have like 4 reviews left over from January, and then everything that I read in February, and then I also have to do my little title page for March. But before I do all of that, I am trying to finish a book, and the reason I am pushing myself to do it is because this was the book club book for February that I never got to finish, and it gives me so much anxiety to, one, not finish a book club book that I said I was gonna read. I don't know, there's like some added pressure with that. And then 2, I hate not finishing a book in the month that I started. So I started this in February. I hate not having finished it in February. So I'm trying to count today as February and try to finish it. I'm 65% through, I think. And I am trying to, I think I have like 3 hours and a half left of reading. So I think I can finish that today. The book that I'm reading is The Spirit Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. Again, I'm just gonna say Simon Jimenez because that's just what sounds better in my ear. But yeah, The Spirit Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. I'm not hating the book, I really am not. I'm just struggling to read it, and I feel like it's just the way it's written. I'm not finding it as confusing as other people in the book club are finding it, but still, it takes me so long to read. I've been reading this for like 2 weeks, and I still haven't finished it, and it's not even that long. It's like 500 pages or so. I don't know why it's taking me so long. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and keep reading this, and then I'll come back and probably tell you what this book is about. But I definitely wanna read as much as I can so that I can finish this today. So yeah, once again, welcome to the vlog, and I hope you have a fun time watching this reset weekend in my life. Okay, so I've reached 86% of my book, which is very close to the end. I'm very excited about that. I feel like I have a lot of thoughts on this book, but I will probably give them to you once I finish it, because I'm definitely hoping to finish it today. But it's already like 4 p.m. and I need to finish editing this video that is coming out later today. I'm trying to get better at not editing and posting on the same day, but for right now, this is how it's gonna work. I am very excited about this video. I mean, you probably have seen it already if you're seeing this video. It's my reading journal setup, which I have my reading journal here, and I personally think it's such a cute video. My only issue is that it's the first time I've ever done a voiceover, so I'm quite scared about that. But yeah, I just need to finish editing some music in it, and I have already finished doing the thumbnail this morning, so I'm hoping I can finish editing that and program it to go out later today. And after that, I might just, you know, watch a YouTube video or two just to take a little break from editing and reading, and then I'll probably go back to reading. So yeah, let's get to editing right now. I'm back with some reading updates, and it's that I finished Despair Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez, and I have so many thoughts. To this point, I still don't know whether I liked it or not. Okay, but let's recap a little bit. Let's talk about what this story is about and then my thoughts on it. So, Despair Cuts Through Water, in its essence, in its bones, is a story about two main characters, Kima and June, and their 5-day journey to return a god to the sea. That's kind of the synopsis, I guess. But this book was narrated in such a way that for a lot of people, at least a lot of people in my book club, it was so confusing. And while it was not confusing for me, like I did know what was happening and how it was narrated, how it was narrated was just very hard for me to get into. So it's narrated as like a second person narrative. So the book goes on about like you and your story with your grandma. So it kind of like starts this book with the setting that you are someone that the book is directly talking to, and you know, it narrates stuff about your life, and you go to this like dream theater where they told the story of these two main characters and their 5-day quest. And the book kind of has like the perspectives of the book talking to you as like a character, but then also talking about what's happening in the play, in the theater, in the dream. But then at some point we're also in the POV of the Empress, which is kind of like the goddess that they're transporting. Bruh, it was I'm not saying that it was confusing or hard to follow, but it was just not a very easy reading experience. So I feel like that's maybe why I cannot really pinpoint my thoughts on this, because while I did enjoy the story, I was not engaged until like the 60%. At like 60% I was like, okay, so I know what's going on, I know the goal, I know what's gonna go down, let's do this. It was way more interesting. But like before that 60%, we were just going through it left and right, doing things for I don't know, it was again not confusing but very hard to read, and it was very slow to read because this book was like 500 pages, and usually I can read a 500 page in like, I don't know, less than a week. This took me like 2 weeks to read, reading every day. It took me like, I think, what was it, like 11 hours, which is wild because it takes me like 6 hours to finish a 300-page book. No, it was a struggle of a reading experience because the way it's narrated, it's not made for you to be engaged with the story, or at least that's how I felt. But the story in itself was good, and I liked the characters, and I was begging for a happy ending, and I was like reading like 90% of it, and I was like, yeah, we're not no, actually like 98% of it, and I was like, yeah, we're not getting a happy ending. And then right at the end, they helped me with it. I was like, thank you. I'm at my core, I am a hopeless romantic. I want happy endings. So that was good. I am very happy that we ended up having a happy ending. But this book was just, honestly, it was a fever dream. I feel like a very, very good way to describe this book is it was a fever dream. So yeah, those are my thoughts on The Spirit Guides Through Water. Did I finish this the 1st of March? Yeah, am I gonna count it towards my favorite wrap up? Yes, that too. Yeah, but I feel like after reading for so long, because it's now like 6 p.m., I think I'm gonna just chill in bed and watch some YouTube. I did finish editing my video, so that's programmed to come out at 8, I think, because that's usually when I put my uploads. Yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy it. I'm definitely very proud of how it turned out. So yeah, I'm gonna go watch some YouTube, and I think I'm gonna call it a day. I know it has not been the most eventful, but I feel like I was productive, you know. I did my video, I edited, programmed it, I finished my thumbnail, I finished my book, and I also went to the print store to get the images for my reading journal. So I think I will do the proper reset for my Notion, my apps, and the reading journal tomorrow, because I feel like I'm gonna have more energy, and right now I just kind of want to chill. So yeah, I'll probably see you tomorrow if nothing else happens. We'll see. I might pop in like 2 hours. I don't know, but yeah, I'll see you in the next clip. So it's obviously the next day. It is actually quite late in the day. It's like 3 p.m. But I spent most of my morning, you know, going out for a walk and then trying to finish reading The Brothers Karamazov, because yeah, it's March 2nd and I still haven't finished this. It's been a month since I've been reading it because I've been like going slowly at it, but now I feel like I'm in the last 2 books of the 12 that The Brothers Karamazov consists of. So I am trying to finish those 2 books, which are roughly like 200 pages within today and tomorrow, so I can finally not necessarily be done with this, but kind of just to finish it because I've been liking it so much. But it's obviously a long one, so I definitely want to be able to finish it in a timely manner and not spend like 2 months on it. Also, I want to finish it so I am able to go back through everything that I kind of like not tapped, because sometimes I don't have the energy or just the motivation to annotate. I just kind of want to keep reading, but there are some parts that will catch my attention, so I will like dog ear them for later. And as you can see, but yeah, as you can probably see here, I have a lot of dog eared pages, and those are things that I would like to get back to annotate. So I'm just honestly thinking I will just finish the book and then go back and annotate everything. But yeah, I have been reading this all morning, and now I think it's finally time for me to do my little reading journal. I have to do a little bit of scrapbooking for the books that I read in January, and then also log in the books that I read in February. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm also gonna see if I'm able to put in the title for March, because I have to draw that one and I'm still not sure what I'm gonna do. But since I did Snoopy for my January and February title pages, I think I'm gonna do like a spring Snoopy for March. That's kind of what I think I'm gonna do now as part of my March reset. So let's get cutting and pasting and writing my thoughts for my reading journal. Okay, so I finished doing all of my reading journal stuff, I guess. Let me take you a little bit through what I did, kind of. So mostly I put all the books that I read in my little bookshelf. Then I did it in my counter. I did not continue any of the series that I'm in the middle of, so I didn't change any of that, unfortunately. I also did not read from any new country. That's disappointing, but I feel like once I finish reading my physical TBR, I can actually put more thought and effort into this challenge. But for now, that's just how it is. And then I did finally put my two favorite books of January and February. In January, it was The Sword of Kaigen, and then in February, it was First Time Color. I feel like in February I didn't read as much as in January because I was reading The Brothers Karamazov and The Spreadcast Through Water, and it took me so long to read those. Once again, I finished The Spreadcast Through Water yesterday, so March 1st, and I'm still reading The Brothers Karamazov. Yeah, so I did not count those in my reading journal as part of February, but I think I will add them in my February wrap-up just because I have them like very recent, and I'm thinking I'll probably finish The Brothers Karamazov either today or tomorrow, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. And then I did finish putting like all of the dates that I read during February. I didn't DNF any book this month, so that's a win. But yeah, I ended up filling out the like my journal spreads for January because I only had until Nightshade, I think, and I was missing all of the pictures to put into the other books. So because I went yesterday to the print shop, now I had them, so I was able to finish writing. So I wrote for the Darker Shades of Magic trilogy. I also did one page for A Room of One's Own, and then Gods of Jade and Shadow. And then I have my little title page, which I kind of wrote the little stats. And I did put the books that I finished reading during February. Again, I'm not counting The Spreadcast Through Water or The Brothers Karamazov because those are probably gonna be March books, but I will talk about them in my February wrap-up in YouTube. And then I did my little March title page. I think it's really cute to include Snoopy in like all of the seasons, so I am very happy with this. And I had a lot of like these stickers from Notebook Therapy. And one thing I'm also doing is, obviously, these are the size of the pages, but I'm kind of cutting them so I can see like the months. So I'm cutting like one line out of all of them so I can see like in January, February, March. So yeah, that is my update on my reading journal. I think it looks so cute, but it did take me so long to finish writing all of those because I was writing in cursive, and although I've known how to write cursive all my life basically because that's how they teach us in Spain, I have not done it in so long. It takes more effort in my part because I want it to look pretty. But yeah, really happy about how this one is turning out, although I think by the end of it it's gonna be like so thick. We'll see. I'm excited to do a little like reading journal, like 2025 reading journal, like full finished video. So yeah, keep that in mind for December or January because I would really like to do that video. And then I thought that I am not gonna make a March TBR video on YouTube, so I thought I could just tell you a little bit about the books that I'm planning to read in March because it's not completely set. There's a lot of books that I want to get to this month, and some of them more than others, but I have like a long list, or what I think is a long list based on how much I actually read during a month. But yeah, let me go a little bit through them. I'll start with the physical books that I have here. So the main book that I want to get to on March, I'm trying to make it so that I read one intimidating book a month. So February was The Brothers Karamazov, and then March is gonna be The Odyssey by Homer, obviously, but this one is the Emily Wilson translation. And I am so excited to read it, especially since a lot of my friends have been really into the Epic musical, and now they all want to read it. So we might be reading it together, I'm not sure, but I am very excited. I love this copy. My boyfriend got it for me. He also gave me flowers, and I think I have like the note of the flowers here as a bookmark. So again, really excited to read it, and I might start reading it soon. I'm trying to see if I want to read it like not at once, but like just focus on this book only, or try to read a certain amount of pages or chapters a day throughout March. I think that's what I'm gonna try and do, just because it's such an intimidating book. But I'm still a little bit on the fence about that. But yeah, The Odyssey by Homer, translated by Emily Wilson. And then the other book that I have here that I want to read this March is The Virgin Suicides. I thought I liked this copy until I saw like the white one, and I'm like, maybe I like the white one better. I don't know. I watched the movie by Sofia Coppola in January. I think it was the first movie that I watched this year, and I really liked it. And it is a cult classic, so I am very excited to read where it came from, especially because I've heard a lot of things about this book. So this book is about the Lisbon sisters. They commit suicide, and this is narrated by kind of like a boy in the neighborhood that was incredibly obsessed with them. And I just feel like it's so interesting to think that I've heard that this is a very good portrayal of girlhood and growing up as a girl, but it was written and it's narrated by a man. So I'm kind of excited to see that type of perspective, because how can someone that is not experiencing it be able to accurately define it? So yeah, I'm excited to read this. I've heard that people love it, people hate it, it's very polarizing. So I am excited to start it. I already have a little bookmark because I think this is gonna be the one that I start next after The Brothers Karamazov. Now moving on to books that I don't have here that I want to read. Let's talk about my buddy reads / book club books. So for the book club that we're reading Blood Over Bright Haven by Emil Wang. And I'm gonna be so completely honest with you, no idea what this is about. I have absolutely no idea, but because The Sword of Kagan by Emil Wang was my favorite book of January, I am very, very excited to read this book. And again, we read it in the same book club, so I guess like everyone really liked it, and we wanted to read this author again. So again, very excited about that. I cannot tell you much about it because I have no idea what it's about. And then the other book that I'm reading as part of like a buddy read is a book that I'm reading with my boyfriend, and it's The Restaurant at the End of the Galaxy, which is the second book of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I read that book with my boyfriend in March 2023, I believe, and it took me out. I'm not one to read sci-fi, and if I read sci-fi, it's kind of like a more serious type of sci-fi. This one was so funny. I kept like laughing out loud at this book, and that has never really happened to me, so I'm very excited to continue with the series. Again, I don't know what the second book is about, but if it's written the same as the first one, I think I will enjoy it. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but I feel like it's gonna be like a nice, quick, fun read, so I'm excited for that one. And then I think I'm gonna put 2 more in the list, so that makes 6 books. I think that's doable. So I'm trying to read 1 nonfiction a month for the whole year. Last month I was supposed to read Bittersweet by Susan Cain, and I didn't. I just didn't, because I felt like reading The Brothers Karamazov and then reading a nonfiction, it just make it too much for me. So I'm moving that to this month. This month I want to try and read Bittersweet by Susan Cain. Again, I talked about it in my February TBR, but it's a book about how to deal with grief, how to handle grief in a way that it's creative and useful for you, basically. So trying to get to that, but obviously it's not necessarily a hard read emotionally, but because it's nonfiction and it's very structured like a research paper, I would say, it's kind of hard to read. But I'm like 10% through, so I'm gonna count this as fully in March, so I'm gonna try and finish that in March. And then a book that I'm very, very excited to read, because it just gives me March vibes. Don't know why, don't ask me, it just gives me those vibes, and that is Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. Do I know much about this book? Again, no. I know that it's about these, I think 4 sisters, I might be wrong on them. It's about these sisters, and one of them dies, so even though they're scattered through the world, they have to come back to their childhood town, I think, to prepare for the funeral and everything. At least that's what I think it's about. I just know it's about sisters and about grief, and those 2 things are my shit. Like, I feel like I love books about sisters. I think it's so interesting because I have a sister myself, and the dynamics are always so either different to mine or similar to mine, and I always think it's like very interesting to read about. And then obviously I keep navigating towards books that deal with grief, so I feel like that book is like a nicely little package for me. So I'm very, very excited to finally read it this year. I don't have it physically here with me, but I do have a copy at home. So it will also count towards reading my physical TBR, so I'm very, very excited about that. So yeah, this is my March TBR, and I feel like I did all the reset that I wanted to do. Again, mostly my reading journal, and I did put some stuff in my Notion. I just feel like my Notion is very convoluted at the moment, so I'm trying to make it better and for it to look like a little bit more cleaner before I show it to you guys. But I mostly just logged the books that I read, and I took out books out of my physical TBR because that is like the most satisfying thing ever. So in case that you want an update on that, I started the year with 71 books on my physical TBR, and I'm down to 62. So I feel like we're doing quite the nicest progress. I feel like that's a good progress. I'm coming back to the March TBR. There is one book that I am also gonna add, but it's an anticipated release, so I don't know if I actually get my hands on it or not, but that one is Wild Side by Elsie Silver, because it is one of the book series that I'm currently reading, and I really liked both Wild Love and Wild Eyes, so I'm very, very excited about Wild Side, because I keep hearing people that have the arc saying that it's such a good book, and I always like to mix a little bit of romance in my TBR, so I'm very excited for that one. So yeah, that is actually my full March TBR if I get to grab that book. But I'll probably grab it on my Kindle though, because I don't want to add to my physical TBR. That's everything, promise. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit chaotic, but I feel like for me, the beginning of the month is always quite chaotic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have watched this till the end, thank you so much. I actually really appreciate that. And if you enjoy watching videos related to books, about books, please consider subscribing to my channel. That's mostly what I do. I hope you have a great start of the month, and see you in the next one.